Welcome into this week's edition of the Chanticleer Football Update alongside interim head coach Jamie Chadwell. Joe Cashin here with you. Coastal now 1-5 on the season, 0-3 in the Sun Belt Conference following a 51-17 loss at Arkansas State this past Saturday. And, Coach, despite that final score, and it does obviously look bad, there were a lot of positives I thought that you could take from this game. I mean, we had over 400 yards of total offense, only one turnover in the game, which really didn't affect anything. But, you know, it is what it is. It's still a loss, and we got to bounce back from it.
We do. I do think there were some good things that we did in all phases. Just not enough. Just not enough overall to try to get a win. But we put ourselves early in the first half there. We're down 7 with about 3 minutes to go in the ball game versus those guys, and can't make a play. They go down and score, and then really turn it on in the second half. And we just didn't have an answer for them. But I was pleased with some areas of our team and the way that we are improving. I think it just shows you we just got a little ways to go until we can be competitive for 4 quarters versus some of our better teams.
First possession of the game, first play of the game, Oshamar Abercrombie, the senior from Greenwood, takes the handoff, goes 55 yards, his longest rush of the season, our longest run of the year, and gets us right down in the red area. Yeah,
great start to the game. He was a heck of a runner. Almost broke it for a touchdown. Yep. Then we're able to get down to the 4-yard line. Cannot punch it in. I made a bad call on first down, and then we had 2 shots there, and then we go for a field goal and missed the field goal, which was a huge miss. Where that made a difference in the game, maybe not. But momentum-wise, we needed something positive to happen, and then they go down and score right away. So you look like you get off to a great start, and then you're down 7-0.
Kind of reminded me a little bit of the Georgia State thing too, when they scored first, and then we put together a nice drive, have it stall out, miss a field goal, and just unable to pick up any momentum from that. But then a little bit later on in the half, we put together a nice drive and score on the first play of the second quarter with Dalton Demos.
Yeah, I thought, we kept the ball. Our plan was to try to keep the ball from those guys. We had it over 10 minutes in the first quarter, no points. Right. But we had the ball quite a bit, and the plan was working. Dalton runs in the end zone. We're 7-7 there, I think midway through or early in the second quarter. And, you're feeling pretty good. You sort of survived the first quarter and the homecoming or whatever it was up there, the family night. And I feel like we're in a good position. And but that was key. That second quarter was a key. We needed to get something positive to happen. We just couldn't make it happen.
We go down 17-7 at the break, and, of course, they had the ball first to start the second half. And you and I were talking before we went on the air to record today's show that they had the ball and went from 14-7 to 24-7 up before we got it back.
Yeah, they did. They scored right before half, ran the clock out basically right at halftime, and then they got the ball, come out the second half, and went down and scored. So you're feeling good about the situation there with 3 minutes to go, and then you're down 17 points just like that. And our defense gave up those points. We needed to get something going right there out of third quarter to try to match it, and got a little drive going, but couldn't get any points. And then they score again. They get a big punt return, and then the avalanche started, and we couldn't get away from it.
And then Kilton Anderson comes on in the second half. He got a little bit of run in the first half. He comes on by necessity in the second half when both Demos and Keene were out. And I thought he performed pretty well and hit Chris Jones on a big one.
Yeah, Kilton, I thought for the situation did some good things. That's his first game in a couple of years. Had a hurt hamstring and earlier in the fall, and I think he'd probably play a little more if he wasn't hurt. And he's still probably not 100% running, but I thought he did some good things for his first action. Made some nice throws. Hit a big one. There's a couple he'd like to have back that probably could have been some big touchdowns as well. But I was pleased with most of it. I thought he handled it pretty well. He did have the fumble there at the end that was frustrating, but for the most part, he took care of the ball and put us in position to try to score.
And then, of course, they got a couple of late scores, made it 51-17, the final score of the ball game. Can't fault the effort, Coach. I mean, I really didn't think that we played that badly in the game, and that's kind of scary to think, but thought our kids fought all the way through.
They did. And that's one thing that I feel like each week that's something that you don't have to worry about. They've kept fighting. They've kept believing in each other, and the scoreboard's not been especially this last week, close going into the fourth quarter. But they kept trying to play, and that's something you can always build off of. If you lose that, then you're in trouble. We've not lost that, and I think we've gotten better each week with that. We got to clean up the other stuff.
So we'll take a break and come back and talk about the players of the game from Saturday night. We'll do it right after this. Back here on the Chanticleer football update as Coastal falls 51-17 on Saturday night down at Arkansas State. We had some MVPs from the game, Coach. Start first with our offensive MVP, and we've already talked about him, senior running back Oshamar Abercrombie. Terrific night, over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah, he did a great job. What I think was unseen, we threw the ball quite a bit. He had to do a good job in protection, picked up some good blitzes for us. He had only had the ball 10 rushes. We need to get it to him a little bit more, but he had a great game, and he's been solid for us all year long.
Amir Howard led the defense in tackles. He was the defensive MVP.
Amir's been really consistent the last few weeks. Now, anytime you have a secondary guy leading you tackles, it's a little nervous. That means they're getting, moving the ball. But he's doing a good job in his coverage. He's doing a job of coming up and tackling people in space. And we need him to continue to play well because, he's a guy out there that I think that can make plays. He fits at this level, and he's got the ability to be a good player.
And then Sagasti product Max Josa was our MVP on specialty.
Yeah, Max did a great job. Max is a starter on one, and he backs up a couple others, but he had to play a bunch last night or Saturday night, and he did really well. Came in and on all his phases and graded out really high and made some nice plays. Really had not a game saving, but a touchdown saving tackle. One of their guys was about to get out, and he punt return. And he made a nice play. And
then a couple of other guys I want to spotlight from the other night. Shane Johnson, senior from Philadelphia, 9 tackles in the game on defense. And then Omar Black, I tell you what, this guy is really stepping up as a wideout. 5 catches, 88 yards, and he just seems to have a knack for making a spectacular play just about every night.
He does. Shane had another solid game. He plays well in there and does a good job with our defense. You mentioned Omar. Omar, the catch he made there, first of all, it's pass interference they didn't call. They missed a few that night. Secondly, it was an unbelievable catch. But we're putting him in positions to make some plays, and he's making them, and he's getting them. He's not the most talented guy out there that we have with Malcolm and Chris, but he's going to be where he's supposed to be. He's consistent. He's steady. And when the ball's around him, he's going to make a way to make the play. And he's doing really well the last few weeks.
All right, we'll take another break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at some of your questions for the coach, and we'll preview Saturday's game against Appalachian State. We'll do it right after this on the Chanticleer Football Update. Back here on the Chanticleer Football Update, time now to check the Ask the Coach at coastal.edu line. Coach, questions for the coach, interim head coach Jamie Chadwell. And, Coach, I want to ask first about starting field position for Coastal this year. We have really been behind the 8 ball, it seems like. And it was, the same case the other night. Average starting field position for our offense was at the 21. For Arkansas State, the 35. What do we have to do to try to overcome that and get better in that area?
Well, that's been the challenge. Every game it's been something similar to that. There's not been one game where we've not been ahead or at least had good starting field position. Part of that's penalties. Part of that is not making good decisions in some of our kick game. And some of that is, they got some players that can get down there and make some plays. We've got to do a better job, whether it's punt return, whether it's kick return, if it's punt return, making a wise decision on when to catch it, when to let it go for a touchback.
Right.
That happened the other night. Mm-hmm. Kick return, their kicker, kicks it there a yard or two deep. We're trying to bring it out to make a big play. Probably smarter for us to take a knee and let's get the ball to 25. Because we're trying to make a big play and then either get a penalty and you're backed up to 10 or 15. So we got to just be smarter in some of those decision makings. And I think too, we got to do a better job when we're kicking the ball off of covering. When they're getting the ball to 35, that tells you we're either out kicking our covers, not kicking it deep enough, and they're getting great starting field position, and that puts our defense, who's been up and down, that puts them in a bad position. When you're 35, one first down, you're already at midfield. So that doesn't give you a lot of film to work with.
Another question on the email line, Coach. How do you keep the spirits up during this losing streak right now with the kids?
Well, that's a tough thing, Joe, because everybody wants to win. But the thing that we've really talked a lot about is that, one of our missions, obviously part of our mission, is giving 100% of the time. So no matter what the scoreboard says, our job is to play hard, play for Coastal football every day. And then secondly, we ask our guys a lot, hey, why are you playing? What's your purpose? And the wins are great, and that's what we want, but you should be playing for each other. You should be playing for the love of each other, love for the game. And if you're doing that, you always give your best because it can't be about results because you're going to get whipped in some life. In life, you're going to get knocked down.
Sure.
And if it's all about what you get and not what you give, you're always going to be miserable. And we really try to focus on about what we're trying to accomplish and the foundation we're laying. And part of that is the way we handle adversity. And to keep our spirits up, we got to remember why we're playing.
Finally, Coach, injuries. We had several guys get dinged up the other night. Obviously, Keene got knocked out. Dalton Demos got a little bit hurt in the game. Adam Lawhorn had to go out. Jack Franklin, we had to run him out there and burn a red shirt. Obviously, he's going to be a good one for us. But and then Connor Kubala, our long snapper, has been our long snapper for 3 years. What kind of update can you give?
Connor, there's MRI for him, something with his knee, doesn't look good, so once we get the MIR results back, but it looks like he might be done for the year possibly. We'll see, hopefully not. Tyler Keene should be able to come back this week. He had a little stinger. I think he could have went back in the game. They didn't want him to. I think he would have if they'd let him.
Right.
Demos is probably going to be out for a week or two. He's in concussion protocol. And you mentioned
Adam Lawhorn.
Adam Lawhorn. Adam's had a knee issue since he's been here. He took a pretty good shot on it, so we're not too comfortable with him. We think going to be coming back at least this week. It looks like he's a 2 or 3 week guy to try to get healthy. We'll see, but we came out of that game with some injuries that probably the most that we've always come out with some injuries, but usually been able to come back. We're probably going to be missing some guys this week.
Does Kilton Anderson start for us this week?
That'll be the plan. We'll probably rotate him a little, depending on how Tyler feels. I'll probably try to still play both a little bit because of what we have to do to try to move the football. But you'll probably see Kilton quite a bit more this week just because of, one, giving him more opportunity, but two, making sure Tyler's 100%. We don't want to put Tyler out there if Tyler's going to have a chance to re-injure himself. That's not right by him. And so we'll do right by him and make sure he's completely healthy before we put him back out there.
So from one conference co-champ to another in back-to-back weeks. Last week, Arkansas State. This coming week, we go up to the Rock, up to Boone, North Carolina, to play Appalachian State. Give us a preview of them.
Well, they're going to be the best team we've seen in all phases. They've got a very mature team, very senior-laden, junior-laden football on both sides of the ball. They've got the player of the year on offense at running back, and their quarterback's been a 4-year starter. They do a great job on offense. Defensively, they have a lot of speed, They're not as big as maybe in Arkansas State, but they're a lot quicker, more explosive athletes. They lead the conference in interceptions. They lead the conference in sacks. They do a really nice job, and it's hard to play up there. Obviously, Boone's a great place to play. They've got a lot of tradition, and I think it's probably family night up there. It's going to be 25 or 30,000, whatever they seat up there. So it's going to be a great atmosphere. We have to do a great job of trying to, take care of the football, control them, try to limit their possessions because they're pretty explosive. It's going to be a huge challenge for us, but one that we're embracing. We know what we're building here. We know what we want to try to get to. Arkansas State and App State are the class of the league.
Yep.
For us to be Sun Belt champions, we got to get to that level, and we're going to see back-to-back what that takes. And if we'll go up there and play with a passion, play with a purpose, and lay it on the line, we'll give it a good shot because I think there's some things that we can do to give them problems. Now, is it going to be good enough? We'll see on Saturday.
Jamie, best of luck. Let's get a win up there. 0-3 all time. Be nice to go up there and get win number one.
It would. That'd be a great start for us.
All right. Airtime on the Chanticleer Sports Network coming up on Saturday from Boone, North Carolina will be 2:30, 3:30 kickoff, Coastal versus Appalachian State. So for the interim head coach, Jamie Chadwell, I'm Joe Cashin. We'll see you right back here next time on the Chanticleer Football Update.